All right, my first day back at it, back in the office making videos for this damn channel, and so far I made one video about YNW Melly's little brother dropping a music video, and then I made another video about Bad Baby, and now here I am talking about Lil Yachty and young bands. This beef actually happened while I was on the road. I was very intrigued by it, and I was looking at the timeline, just like, wow, look at what is going down. But I have a hot new hip hop article pulled up. Shout out to them. That sort of can be my guide to the subject, I guess. Last week, Young Bands announced the star-studded track list, his upcoming album Misunderstood, which I guess, let's talk about that track list for just a moment. When he says star-studded, oh, god damn it. See, this is why blogs should never embed stuff from people's Instagrams, because then those people delete that shit off their Instagram, and all of a sudden it's gone forever. Anyway, appearances that were listed include Future, who apparently signed Young Bands, YNW Melly, who actually did a song with him on, what am I thinking of? Whatever. Young Thug, and the late X. One man that was not listed on the back album cover was Lil Yachty, who came through on social media to rip the Atlanta rapper to shreds, claiming that his entire album concept was lifted from his own discography. Now, I'm not 100% sure if this exact tweet right here, Lil Yachty saying at Young Bands, "You my son, stop trying me, bitch," in London actually too. I saw Yachty when he was in London, right when he got off stage. Apparently, I don't know if this was the first shot fired here. I'm not sure, because that is a little surprising to me. Yachty is usually not Mr. Confrontational and doesn't really shy away from beefs in the public eye. But I'm just a little bit surprised to see him just coming for bands like this, just saying, hey, fuck you. Anyway, what was it about? You might be wondering. Well, let's take a look. The Young Band's album cover. This is it right here. I guess that Yachty is not feeling the fact that this album cover is sort of similar, or the concept of this album cover is sort of similar to his project. Yachty's project, as we see here, Teenage Emotions. As you remember, this is a pretty controversial album cover because, look, he's got two dudes making out, chubby redhead, presumably social justice warrior girl who hates Adam 22 with green hair, albino fuck with star shirt. I don't know, whatever. Some people were pissed off about the shirt, basically, is what I'm saying. Not shirt, this art, just because I guess people were pretty much just mad about the dudes making out. But anyway, I guess concept-wise, Teenage Emotions and Misunderstood, I get it. There's a picture of him just sort of looking, a little isolated, surrounded by people. Cole Bennett right there, by the way. I don't know who the other people are. It's kind of small. But anyway, this fan then tweeted at Yachty and said, "Misunderstood finna be better than your last three albums, though." Oof. And so Yachty said, "Misunderstood is literally an imprint of Teenage Emotion." So there he made it explicit about how he was feeling. Now Yachty presumably has not heard the Young Bands album, just like nobody else in the public eye has heard the Young Bands album. So I think that he's just basing that on the cover. And that's why I'm a little surprised, is because the cover, yeah, I could see how thematically it's got some similarities to the Yachty project, but it doesn't exactly stand out to me as like an exact replica. Yachty's was in a movie theater, Bands was in a classroom. Yes, there's a bunch of people sort of sitting around him, but does that make it so explicit? I don't know. Anyway, a few years ago, Lil Yachty released Teenage Emotions, which he had worked hard on perfecting. The concept behind the music was very clear, pertaining to the growing up experience and how everybody's own backgrounds differ. Yachty, who has passionately referred to himself as the king of the youth, which I don't know, does he still say that? I feel like that's something he might have sort of outgrown, decided to take a stand against anybody who feels alienated, dedicating his album to the folks who have been different their entire lives. Young Band's Misunderstood is essentially a very similar idea, and Lil Boat isn't entirely happy or surprised to see that Bands is capitalizing off the idea, calling him out for biting his style. What idea? This seems a little bit illogical to me, just because, like, that's such a generic thing, like an album about the weird experience of growing up and how hard it is to grow up and how, being young is awkward. Yachty does not have a copyright on that concept. I'm going to be totally honest. Like, yeah, I can see that there's some similarities here and everything, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't think Yachty has enough to sort of like make that judgment from what I've seen. But then again, on the other hand, maybe Yachty has more information that we're not necessarily aware of. The two artists went back and forth on Twitter, getting downright disrespectful and calling out the other for a general lack of skills. Yachty said misunderstood is literally an imprint of teenage emotions. Young Bands caught wind of the shade before he responded with his own insults. He wrote, "You a whole hoe and your music will never sound like mine. The TF is teenage emotions, sweet ass N-word." Wow. As if that wasn't enough, DJ Akademiks rehashed his own beef with Young Bands through this, calling him out for being slow. "What you mean, dumb N-words," said Ak. "The meaning behind teenage emotions is literally growing up and being misunderstood. You a slow-ass N-word for real. Be original." So, yeah, I don't know. I don't really understand why Young Bands has this whole, like, thing with people. I guess with Akademiks, it kind of makes sense because Bands have sort of, like, antagonized them and sort of picked fights with them over the last year or two on social media, and Akademiks, I guess, just wasn't really having it. So now Akademiks is just sort of using his own personal grudge against him and sort of jumping in on this whole Yachty thing. But probably what they're actually doing is just helping to like drum up some attention for Bands' album. Because, I mean, Bands is like somebody that I actually think he's dope. Like before I made this video, I went and I was looking at Apple Music and I was looking at his top songs and I was like, I don't really understand this narrative that Young Bands sucks or something. Because to me, I feel like he's actually capable of making a good album, and I'm excited to hear the album, and especially given all the features on the album, I'm excited to hear the album. And yeah, I guess Yachty felt offended by him. Akademiks hates him, but for me, Young Band's always been pretty nice to me. I don't know if I ever got the follow back on the gram, but I got it on Twitter at least. I'm just trying to stay in the game here. He's always been a nice guy to me. I met him in Chicago like 2 weeks ago, and he seemed like a cool dude. And he actually said that he's coming out here to do the interview like as soon as possible. Like he said, as soon as he can get out here because of his like crazy house arrest shit that I've always heard about with him, that he's doing the interview. So that's exciting to me. Let's see what else we have to deal with here. Oh, okay, that's it. But man, this shit's kind of crazy. It's a little crazy. Future signed this fucking hothead. He's just out here beefing with everybody. At first, I definitely thought the Yachty beef thing was fake. I thought for sure it had to be fake because I'm like, man, this is drawing so much attention to his project that it's just got to be fake. Like, this is just the best promotion that you could ever fucking want. It's for somebody like Yachty, who's like pretty high profile. Akademiks is pretty high profile. Your Young Bands, you're a little bit less known than them. They just come out and they fucking talk about your album a whole bunch, whether they're talking about it in a positive way or a negative way. I mean, it's all about just getting some attention, right? So the more attention you can get, the better. Doesn't really matter if it's coming in a way that is intended to be negative one way or another. Does this one actually have... Oh, yeah, this one has the other screenshots. This is what Yachty said. "I don't entertain it on here, y'all, because y'all been dick sucking since the beginning of time." And he actually showed the screenshots of Young Bands basically just like sending him mad music and like, "I'm trying to get like you day one, twin, for show. It's on the way. I should be over there with y'all soon if blah, blah, blah." Oh yeah, this is another one of the good responses that Young Bands had. "I know Akademiks was breathing heavy as fuck making them tweets just now." Boom! Roasted, I guess. And look, even Chapo hopped in on this. Chapo, I don't know if people like new school No Jumper fans even remember when me and Chapo were rocking, but Chapo Band God Lyrical Lemonade premiere back in the day. That's a classic right there. Really, that song should have been bigger than it actually was. And my outfit cost a goddamn Chevy. This is always something that's like kind of tempting to do, like to screenshot somebody's old fucking DMs. Like just the other day, I saw somebody talking shit about me And I just had a feeling. I clicked on the message button. Boom. He had DM'd me like 10 times trying to get me to post this stuff. And then he's talking bad on me. But you know what? I was going to say something about it, but then I was like, nope. Don't do it. Don't do it because, there's just not much to gain when you're the big dog and you're acknowledging somebody little. This is not really that case because Young Bands and Yachty are both pretty well known. And if anything, Yachty's having fun, wading into the deep end, just getting in there with the guys, beefing like the old days. I like it. Anyway, I want to know what you guys think. Bands, Yachty, who you messing with? Who are you taking the side of? And also I want to know what you think of the band's project. Do you think it's actually going to deliver? That's the ultimate question. Is it going to deliver? One way or another. So, drop some comments, hit the like, nojumper.com. Appreciate y'all. Bang, bang.